Cool guys, so I'm Victoria and I'm a marketing lead for a company in London. It's a tech company and we develop apps for TVs. This is what we do and I do all of the marketing of the company. I'm the only marketing person and I think that's amazing and a great opportunity for me to grow. I lived in 5 countries so far. I have 3 degrees. They're all from a different country. And I would just hope that I could bring some nice insights. And how do I think you can best match your work with a life that you really want to live? For people who are maybe looking to change their jobs or they just want some inspiration in life. Let's get to the career talk and I'll just tell you about my path. So basically, I am originally from Brazil and I really wanted to study filmmaking. But I always thought that would be a bit stupid. In my head, I didn't think I could make money with filmmaking. And also in my head, I thought that studying something more artsy would really upset my dad. Which I sort of think it was true. So I decided to do a trade-off with my dad. I offered to study 2 things at the same time. There's this very good university. It's the best one in my state and one of the best ones in the country. And I knew my dad really wanted for me to be accepted in that university. And that university is for free. So I told my dad, hey, if I manage to get accepted in business in this university, would you allow for me to study filmmaking in this other university that is paid? And would you pay for me for my studies? And he said yes. And that's how I started to study business and filmmaking at the same time. It was a bit intense. I used to study one of the unis during the mornings and evenings, and the other uni I would do in the afternoon. At some point I was even working, so don't ask me how did I handle all of that. But yeah, so I decided to study both at the same time. I got accepted into the good university and I rolled on with it. Cool, awesome. My dad accepted my offer. I started studying business and filmmaking at the same time. I studied filmmaking much more than business at the time. But the thing is, I graduated in filmmaking, which is amazing. But then I just asked myself, what the frick am I going to do now? I was really afraid filmmaking wouldn't give me money. And I really had no idea of what to do in the job market of filmmaking, especially in the south of Brazil where there are not a lot of opportunities. So I decided to go full on in business because I thought that was the one thing that could give me a future. And, you know, I've always wanted to move abroad. I had lived abroad before already. I had lived in Texas before, but that was the only country other than Brazil that I had lived. And I really wanted to do it again. So I've always wanted to go abroad, and going abroad was my long-term goal, basically. That was like the one thing I wanted to get in my life. And then I found this company called SAP. If you don't know it, it's a software company. They had a big office back where I lived, and they had a very cool program, which was called the Rotational Program, that would basically select 25 interns. And after 8 months, they would select the best performing interns, the top performer interns, and they would give an award. And this award was a trip to Germany for 6 weeks. The company is originally German and the headquarters are in Germany. So I really thought like, oh my God, this is my chance for me to be able to go abroad, even if it's just like for 6 weeks, right? Basically, I applied to this company only thinking that I really wanted to win that prize and that I really wanted to go abroad. So needless to say, I got accepted. It was actually very competitive. As far as I know, it was more than thousands of people applying only for those 25 positions. So it was really challenging actually to get accepted. And I managed to be part of the program and I was so happy about it when I started. And yeah, they had some pretty offices and I was just really happy with my life. And I worked really hard. I would literally go every day to work just thinking of winning that trip because I just wanted that so badly. And I was one of the top performers. And so yeah, there I went to Germany for 6 weeks to the headquarters of SAP. The time I was there was amazing. I loved it. I was traveling every weekend to a different country as well in Europe, and I just had such a great time. It was also awesome because like we were all interns. I was 21 at the time, which I think it's very young for, you know, a young intern to be sent all the way from Brazil to Germany. I think it's so nice when I think about it because I feel so grateful. They used to pay for everything for us, you know, they would arrange very nice accommodation, very nice meals and everything. They would take care of everything. I was really trying to do a really great job whilst I was there, and I built a good relationship with my boss. And I was so happy during that time, but once the time was about to finish, I started to get really sad. I just had a moment of like, I've been wanting to move abroad since forever. I cannot postpone this any longer. I'm 21 now. If I don't do this, when is it going to be? Because I need enough time for me to build a good career abroad, without having a family yet, without having, a serious relationship. And I just told myself, no, that's enough. And I remember I texted my mom without a plan. And I just told her, like, Mom, like, I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling I'm going to fly back to Brazil soon. And this will be the last time I travel back living in Brazil. The next time I travel back to Brazil, it will be visiting. I didn't know, but there was something inside of me that said, that's enough. This is my time. I have to do this. And then one day before I departed from Germany, my boss there, the German one, asked for us to have a career talk and just a feedback session of my period of 6 weeks. And then once we did that, he told me, Victoria, I really like your work. I would love to help you with your career. Would you like... And then he asked me, would you like for me to introduce you to some people in São Paulo? Which, is in Brazil. And I'm sure I'll get very good opportunities if I did move to São Paulo. I'm from the south of Brazil, it's much smaller. Lots of people can make good money in São Paulo. But I really didn't want to go to São Paulo. So, I was very shy and afraid. But I decided to be like, yeah, sure, that would be nice. But actually, what I would like to do is to come back to Germany. And I don't know if you can imagine what my boss' answer was. But his answer was... That's it, he didn't say anything. And then he changed the topic of the conversation. Completely ignored my question and went back to the topic of talking about São Paulo. Oh my god, I felt like... But fine. At least I asked. And yeah, my boss completely ignored and I felt very embarrassed later. I was like, oh my god, why did I ask that? I'm so stupid. I'm just an intern. Why would he go through the trouble of bringing me here? It makes no sense, I'm not that great. So I finished my time in Germany and I had planned to go backpacking for 2 weeks around Europe and then go back to Brazil. And then I flew to Poland, a little bit shaken about the situation, but well, enjoying the rest of my trip and ready to go to Brazil. And I am in the coldest and darkest temperature and environment that I've ever been in my life in Poland. And then out of a sudden, an opportunity arises. Again, I opened my email box and there it was. An email with the subject, potential job offer. And it said, Dear Victoria, if you'd like to come back to Germany to finish your studies, we'd love to offer you a position within our team. Honestly, freaking success. Yes, my life was about to change. Literally, everything was about to change. Yes. That was so amazing. I was so happy. And I didn't know how that was going to be and it was freaking scary. But yeah, I was going back home with a job offer in hands. I landed in Brazil already knowing I was going back. And one thing I am proud to say is that I know this program has been running for definitely over 10 years, probably more. And as far as I know, I've been the only person who managed to go to Germany for those 6 weeks and get a job offer whilst that time. And I know most people who worked in the company really wanted to do the same thing. There were loads of people moving from SAP to Germany, but only after having worked there for years. And I was the only intern who ever managed to do that. And everything will be different from now on. I could literally get emotional over it because my life did change so much and something inside of me said that's what I was supposed to do and it just felt like it was meant to be. And on that note, so I just want to wrap it up and give a few strategic insights of what I gathered from this experience. So first, I want to tell you, do not settle for less than what you want. I could have accepted the offer to go to São Paulo. I would probably have done a lot of money there and it would not have been a bad opportunity. If I went to São Paulo, it would have been very great. Honestly, amazing if anything. But that's not what my heart was wanting. So I did not really settle for something I didn't really want. And this is the next thing. Ask for what you want. I asked. I got into a conversation with my manager and I decided to ask for what I wanted. Guys, I was very embarrassed when I asked. I really left that conversation feeling so down and so embarrassed. Like, I'm just an intern. Who am I to be asking something like that? But I tried. And can you imagine if I hadn't asked for that? That wouldn't have changed the whole course of my life. I would have maybe stayed for other year or years in Brazil. But asking made all the difference for me to actually take power and control over my future. Because at least I tried. The third thing is be strategic. It was quite madness, guys, that I decided to go for an internship program just because I had the possibility of going to Germany by the end of the year if I won a prize. But I did it. I saw an opportunity there and I said, I'm going to work really hard. So I maximize all of my opportunities to actually getting this prize. I need to get there. And once I did get to Germany, I also tried to build a good relationship with my manager. I tried to do a really good job because I had an opportunity. I had to work for it. Which takes me to the next point, which is be prepared. Guys, it took me a long time to do the work, for the whole year back in Brazil to win a prize. Guys, you gotta be prepared. Because if not, when the opportunity is gonna show, it's gonna overwhelm you. Can you imagine, as an example, if I didn't know how to speak English and I went to Germany? I would literally waste the opportunity. I would probably feel stupid and I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the whole opportunity. I prepared my heart for years to move abroad. Which takes me to the last point, which is take the freaking opportunity. So, never rush. You're always in time. I promise. Now I just want to wrap up a few things that are important after leaving SAP. And I think the first thing is I actually left the company once and I came back. I really wanted to pursue an experience in a tinier company. I went for a startup for about 9 months and I was really enjoying it, but the company was too young and at some point it was too unstable for me to stay there. And the great thing is that I always kept a good relationship with my boss. We always kept chatting, would have even dinner every 2-3 months whilst I was working in this other company. And once I was ready to actually leave, he was also ready to take me back. So he was always asking me, hey Victoria, how's work? And I was like, yeah, it's good for now. But then I knew that once I wanted to move away, I could actually go back to SAP, which was amazing. So my advice here is always do a great job. And in Portuguese, there's this expression that says, always leave through the front door. So, I left in very good terms with my boss and my team. I did a good job. I said I was looking for something different. Always tried to be as transparent as I could with the further moves I wanted to do in my career. And it was so great that I actually got accepted back. Also, I had the opportunity of studying a master's in England. The fact that I also was doing a good job led me to good opportunities and to be able to continue having the stability that I had in a company that I knew for years. So I worked for the same company in 3 different countries, which I think it's amazing. By the way, I'm not sure if it's clear here, but I generally think SAP is an amazing place to work. I'm not working with them right now, but I highly recommend any type of experience there. I think it's an amazing company. It supports you so much as a worker. It did win Best Place to Work several years in a row in multiple countries, including Brazil and Germany, and I generally think there's a reason for that. Free employer branding campaign for SAP here because really they deserve it. They're amazing and I love them. I also want to point out that I was strategic on my choices of company. I chose a company that was going to support my growth plans and dreams. I had the plan of moving abroad and I knew SAP could be a company that could support that plan and that dream. So that's why I went with them and it really worked out pretty well. Right now I'm also in a company that supports my future and present goals. So it's very important to think of that whilst you're choosing for a company. You want to be in a place that's good for you and you're also good for them, right? So that's about it. I'm done with my career talk. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to add me on LinkedIn or just email me, feel free to do so. These are my contacts. You also can message me on Instagram or just leave a comment. And I would love to assist you also. If you ever want to talk about possibilities in your career or if you're thinking of moving abroad or starting a career internationally, I would love to assist some people. Please feel free to ask me to create more videos on the topic because I would love to really bring help to everyone who's trying to live their dreams. I know it can be super hard when you're starting, but I believe in you guys. And that's my story and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you so much and I see you soon, guys.